Chris, and a Super Nintendo fan. And as you guys know, this is Halloween, so happy Halloween to everybody. And I thought, since Halloween, what better game to review than Metroid Dread for the Nintendo Switch? Now, when it comes to the review, it was kind of tough, like with some of the other ones, because there's lots of spoilers. But I did my best not to spoil it. So yeah, this is spoiler-free review. So I hope you guys enjoy it. If you guys do, please give a like and subscribe to the channel for more Nintendo content. Without further ado, let's go hunting. Metroid Dread is a 2D action and adventure game where you play as Samus. I don't want to spoil anything about the story, but I will say Samus is sent to a planet to investigate. You explore these giant maps in order to escape and find out what happened. But along the way, you ran into these type of robots, but we'll get into them and talk about them later. While exploring, you will be navigating through the maps and finding different items like missiles, energy tanks. Also in these maps, there are many types of blocks and paths you see along the way. Depending on what abilities you have, you will be able to go to these different areas you haven't been able to do before, including the hot and cold areas. With those, you will need different type of suits. Also, in these maps, you will come across a lot of enemies, which are different type of aliens and robots. And I gotta say, I really love the alien designs and the robot designs. They're very unique and creative, and along your journey you will notice the same enemies, but except they will look a little bit different. There's a lot to explore and different areas to travel to, and I do want to note that there is a lot of backtracking, and I mean a lot. And it does kind of get annoying at first, but when doing so, it gets much easier because of the new abilities that makes it so much easier. Like you could go back to the areas you weren't able to go before and maybe get some new items or new ability. Or also, one thing to note is you will get lost time to time, but you will know where to go because the map will help you get back on track. Because there will be certain areas that are not highlighted or certain part of the map ability will glow. Like for example, let's say you traveled maybe a lot of the left part of the map and the bottom right side, and you think you've been somewhere, like around the map, but there's been this little section that's like not really shown on the map, so that indicates to you that that's the place where you need to go. Or there'll be times where a certain circular item or a part of the map will be glowing, and that will let you know where to go. Alright, so for those who have also played Metroid Dread, note that these boss battles are so tough. They are so tough that you will die about 50 times. I mean, it kind of depends on the boss battle because a lot of them you will like die a 50 more times, but some of them are kind of, not really easy, but some of them are kind of a little bit difficult that you won't really die that much. But a lot of times you will die a lot of these boss battles. The first few times you will die, but the more and more you fight these bosses, the easier it will become. Because all the bosses have different attack patterns and different phases. Like for example, you fight the boss like about 10 times. The first few times you'll die pretty easily, but the other 5 times you get more used to it. And more and more, it will become so easy that you won't take any more damage because you know it right off the bat. And I also want to note that when you defeat these bosses, you feel so great, and these cutscenes show how awesome Samus is. She is so cool and so amazing. From seeing the trailers and seeing other people play, you're probably thinking, you know what, these enemies are not that scary. But when you're actually playing, you will see how scary these enemies are. In the beginning, the game lets you know how tough and scary these enemies are, and that your only option is to run, because if they catch you, you are dead. Through the game, you will encounter many enemies with different abilities like speed. With that kind is very fast and can catch up to you pretty quickly. And there's another one, and this one in particular can freeze you. Basically means if it freezes you, you'll be frozen for about 5 seconds, but that'll be enough for that image to get you and to kill you. And there's even more out there. When you progress through the game, these enemies get tougher and tougher. You only have 3 options when encountering the enemies. Your first option is to run. Again, if an enemy detects you, you better run for your life because again, if they catch you, it's game over. Your second option is even if an enemy catches you, you do have a chance to escape, but it's basically a 1 out of 10 chance of doing it. If you pull it off, you will get away from the enemy, but still have to run away. But if you fail, which you probably will do a few times, yeah, you're pretty much dead. And your third option is to get the Omega Cannon. And this Omega Cannon is so powerful that it creates a powerful blast that's literally the only thing that destroys, well, not destroy, but stops that stops the enemy in its tracks. And by doing so, you gain a new ability. In conclusion, Metroid Dread is such an amazing and fantastic game that it's a blast to play. This game is pretty hard, but also very rewarding. And all throughout the game, you learn a little bit more about Samus in the world of Metroid. And I know there's a lot of things people talk about that. Is it really worth it at $60 and it's a 2D game? Guys, do not listen to the people. Even though this is a 2D game, this is 100% worth the $60. This game is just, honestly, it's just one of the best games I played this year and probably ever. This game is so good, the controls are so perfect. Just everything about this game is just so amazing, fantastic. I know I already said those things before, but it really is. I highly recommend this game. It's just so good. Man. Metroid Dread is absolutely an amazing game, and yeah, this game is just so amazing, also creepy, also it's very hard. This is a I mean, not really hard game, but it's pretty hard. And this is my first Metroid game, and I loved every single bit of it. I mean, there was some points where I was kind of frustrated because I died a lot at the boss, or I didn't really know where I was going, or I'm not gonna lie, there was like 3 times where I went online and looked up, where to go and stuff. But for the rest of the journey, I did not go online. I just, played it, explored for myself. And yeah, it felt so good when I defeated the enemies and knew where to go. And this is a really amazing game. The art style is amazing. The atmosphere is just so creepy, especially with those enemies. Yeah, I highly recommend this. And a lot of people who played this game said this is pretty much game of the year. And yeah, Metroid Dread is really amazing. This is Game of the Year. So I really hope it's nominated for Game of the Year. If it is, we need to vote because this is an amazing, fantastic game that I highly recommend. And if you're like me and you haven't played a Metroid game before, I highly recommend this for your first Metroid Dread. For your first Metroid game. Plus, beginner game, it kind of gives you, a backstory and kind of catch you up from the game before to now, so you'll be caught up with the story, which is very good. So again, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. If you guys did, please give it a like, please subscribe to the channel for more channel content. Also, please follow me on Twitter at PeacefulYoshi7. and remember Autistic and the Nintendo community is more the community of Autistic and Nintendo family. I am Frederick Autistic Nintendo fan. I'll see you guys later. Have a different anniversary to the Legend of Zelda series. Have a 20th anniversary to the Animal Crossing series. Have a 25th anniversary to the Pokemon series. Have a different anniversary to the Metroid series. And have a different anniversary to the Sonic series. Now, once again, guys, happy Halloween. If you guys excuse me, I'm gonna go run away from some enemies.